Welcome to Corner House Studios. I'm Luke, and today I'll be taking you through what I like to call my list of the top 10 of the nation's nostalgic noughties. We'll be taking a trip down memory lane, a trip to where times were simpler, to times where your CD player was the way to get access to your band or artist's favorite music, to where RS was also a way to legally download your favorite music, and to times where MSN Messenger was the coolest way to speak to your friends. So without further ado, here's my personal list of 10 tracks that were definitely on repeat on my iPod player. Ħanibda din il-lista billi naqlab bil-Malti, propjament għax l-ewwel band għandha l-materjal tagħha kollu bil-Malti. Qed nitkellem fuq ħadd li Struppaw. Struppaw hija band illi ddebuttat il-materjal oriġinali tagħha live l-ewwel darba ġewwa Festa Ħwid fl-2004. Hija magħmula minn Dino fuq id-drums, Rex fuq il-bass, Marvin u Jeffrey fuq gitarra u Noel il-kantant. L-Struppaw iddebutaw l-ewwel album tagħhom bl-isem ta' is-CD tal-Struppaw fl-2006, irrikordjat minn Steve Lombardo. Issa ngħidu kif inhi, jiena xtaqt li din lista iżomma nadifa kemm jista' jkun, però kulħadd jaf illi l-Struppaw dan jagħmluh diffiċli wisq. Però ma ġara xejn, għax propjament id-diska li tokkupa numru 10 fuq din il-lista hija diska Cool Radio. On to number 9. Next is a track that was part of an album in 2010. So it doesn't qualify for this list, right? However, this song was released a year earlier and was actually part of the compilation album of the Bay Music Awards in 2009. The band I'm referring to is Airport Impressions, fronted by the immensely talented vocalist Errol Samut. Here is Borderline. On to number 8 from my list of the nation's nostalgic noughties. Next up is a band hailing from the Maltese hard rock scene, a band whose frontman gave me the opportunity to play on his solo album Living in a Song. This band is none other than Fire, and in my hands I have their debut album released in 2006 by the name of Ignite. A cool thing about this album is they have actually hand-placed a used matchstick, which goes with the name of the album, on the side of each of the album, as you can see here. This album packs an awesome collection of hard rock tracks recorded at Padded Cell Studios. Awesome list of hard rock tracks recorded at Padded Cell Studios, owned by the guitarist from this band itself, Robert Longo. So, on to number 8 from my list. This is track number 5 from the album Ignite, MANHUNTER. On your back, 'cause it's ready to attack. Can't you see? That all of this is real. Never felt the way you feel every time you see his shadows in the dark. Number 7 takes us into the world of ska and reggae. I'm talking about none other than The Riffs. The Riffs is fronted by Ray Murcia, who was the frontman of the popular Maltese band The Characters, and who is also one of the current judges of Malta's X Factor. The next track on my list comes from their album Moonstomp, released in 2009 and recorded by Howard Keith. The track is called Jack the Ripper. Number 6 brings us a classic Maltese band who have been around since the 80s, have released 6 albums in total, and are responsible for 2 of the biggest self-organized concerts played by a local band. The band I am referring to is Winter Moods, fronted by Ivan Grek, who is having quite a fruitful solo career at the moment. And number 6 on my list comes from their album Butterfly House from 2003, recorded at Temple Studios, produced by David Vella, and the track is Adrenaline. All I On to number 5. Next up is a grunge/alternative band fronted by the guitarist and singer-songwriter Brendan Jackson. The band, for a brief period of time, also had guitarist Ken Kirkhope, who, for those who remember, owned the t-shirt company called Fat Gold. The band's songs used to be played quite frequently on local radio stations, and for number 5 on my list, here is the 2007 single by Eve Ransom, recorded at Duyaya Studios by Boris Chesek. Here is Souvenir. At number 4 on this list is a band that have been on hiatus, but have recently also made a comeback. The band I'm referring to is none other than Scar. The album I have in my hands is Breaking Radio Silence, released in 2009 and recorded at Temple Studios by David Vella. The main 3 musicians responsible for the catchy tracks on this album are Conrad, Malcolm and my good friend David Castorto Reggiani. So at number 4 on my list is a personal favourite of mine with the awesome guitar solo at the end. Here is Cambodia. So at number 3, we have a track which, like number 9, was part of an album in 2010 but was released a year earlier, and also part of the compilation album of the Bin Music Awards in 2009. The band occupying number 3 on my list is Relikc, whose lineup then consisted of Peter and Jonas on guitars, Raphael on drums, Ivan on bass and Matthew James on vocals. The track I am referring to has that immediately recognizable drum intro performed by Raphael Tonna, which, thanks to him, I am not able to show you the front cover of my album because he wrote some naughty things on it. So, anyway, recorded at Duyaya Studios by Boris Chesek, produced, mixed and mastered by Howard Keith, here is Who the Heck is Relikc?
Who the heck is Relikc?
At number 2 on this list, we have a track by the Maltese queen of pop herself, Relikc. This track was part of an album called Accident Prone in 2005, which was recorded at Farmhouse Studios by Howard Keith. An interesting fact about this track is that the guitar riffs, played by the immensely talented guitarist Alex Malia, were actually sampled on one of Kelly Clarkson's songs Don't Waste Your Time in 2007. So, without further ado, here's Uh-Oh. So, before we get to number 1, here are some honourable mentions of songs that are still running around my hard disk till this very day. First up, Frenzy Mono with their track from 2008, Miss Grace. Corkscrew with their track from 2007, Blind Spot. The Bean Growers, also from 2008, their track Not in a Million Lovers. For those of you who remember, a band called Droned, fronted by Tommy Vassallo, and their single Love to Let. So I say come together, like the sky for love. And lastly, for the honourable mentions, Ivan Filletti, which had a track that actually was meant to make it to an album, but the album never materialized, from 2009, What You've Always Wanted. Until the stars will fall from the sky, until we break the ice. So here we are at number 1, a band which was very popular in the late 90s and early noughties, a band fronted by Jotham Saliba and who had also recruited a very good friend of mine, Jeremy McCullough, on guitars. This is Scream Daisy. The number 1 track on my list is part of their album In Case of Emergency, released in 2002, recorded at Temple Studios by David Vella. Here is the track Room 7.
So don't you tell me now you wanna go to heaven, can't you show me how you wanna change your name?
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for viewing my personal top 10 list of the nation's nostalgic noughties. Whether you agree or disagree with my list, I would love to hear from you, so just leave a comment down below. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe if you liked the content I'm sharing. So, until then, take care.